All right, Twitch. Wednesday night, 6:30 Central Standard Time. That means it is time to build a character. I was late getting home from work, so I've got to grab a couple of goods. Bear with me one moment. All right. So for our Wednesday Twitch stream, if you're joining me live, what we do is we focus on building either a character or a monster that is very indicative for interesting role-playing. The premise of the show is that we utilize, rather than creating a character concept, building a character, and then searching out a miniature that represents that character, we flip it on its head. We find a very interesting miniature and then build a character based on that miniature. So it's all about finding inspiration in a miniature. That way, if you're in your local hobby shop or searching online and you see a miniature that captures your attention, you can purchase it and then build a character on it. So that's the whole premise of this show. We want to make interesting characters that are nuanced and individualized and really immerse ourselves into that character, all because we saw a cool miniature. And we can ultimately make a very cool character for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So you can see on the table I've got my Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse, because I promised that I would go away from the player's handbook, just basic stuff, at some point. And I have a miniature that really inspired me to do that for this stream. So this miniature is called Rask, Male Harefolk. So this was sculpted by Christine Van Patten, and it was designed for Reaper Miniatures, and they used it as one of their monthly giveaways. So because I order from Reaper Miniatures pretty regularly, I got this as a free miniature. Now I'm going to be the first to say that I don't make a lot of characters that are like way out there or anything, but for me this one, when I first got it, was pretty out there. A harefolk. I could never imagine playing a harefolk. But it got me thinking, why not break out of my comfort zone and build a character based on this miniature? At first, this was just going to be a free giveaway, and just as a reward and never to be done anything with. But the more I thought it, the more I thought, why not utilize this in some type of way, shape, or form? And this seems to be the best show to do that. So we're going to break this bad boy right out of the blister. You can see this is a Bones USA, so made right here in Texas, where I am located, and again sculpted by Christina Van Patten. Let's check out the miniature a little bit, get it up close to the camera. So you can see it's got those rabbit style legs. It's got a sword. It's got a cloak with the hood up. It's got a little bit of, I would say, a tunic and a belt, breeches, big old ears, gloved hand, little bits of armor, but not much. This to me seems like someone who is going to be fast and sneaky. When I see it, the thing that just keeps coming to mind is a rogue. So I know Mordenkainen's presents a lot of characters or character options that are based on different creatures. Let me get some cameras set up here so we can put this miniature in the limelight as we're building it. And it's not going to be perfect, but let's get this figure up here nice and tall so we can see it. Angle a little bit of light. It's not going to be perfect for that camera, but that way it's in view. Keep reminding us of what we've got. Oh, until I knock it down. I'm going to put my character sheet there. I get my pencil. I'm going to get my dice. And I'm going to pause one moment because I see someone pulling up to drop something off. So I'll be right back. Bear with me, I'll be right back. Let me mute just so you don't hear the doorbell. Okay, sorry about that. Loaned a tool to a neighbor, and they were just returning it. Great neighbor. All righty, let's get our harefolk. I'm going to actually turn this upside down. Rask the harefolk. All right, so I know immediately I am going to have the name be Rask, just because it's already on the packaging. Now for the creatures, I'm going to flip open the book and get right into the races. Page 22. We are going to. So a race, Haregon. Haregon. Based on the attire, I'm feeling a rogue for sure. Now this is a humanoid and you're medium or small. So this character here I want to put up against a standard miniature. We can see this paladin human, they're pretty close in size. So I am going to say that this is a medium creature. And walking speed is 30 feet. So we can add proficiency bonus to initiative rolls. That's the hare trigger. Get it? Hare trigger. And our proficiency bonus at level 1 is a +2. So that means we get to add that 2 to our initiative. And let's see, we also have Leoprine senses, proficiency in perception. Proficiency in perception. And lucky footwork. When you fail a dexterity saving throw, you can use your reaction to roll a d4 and add it to the save, potentially turning the failure into a success. You can't use this reaction if you're prone or your speed is 0. So lucky footwork. And all right, and then we also get a rabbit hop. As a bonus action, you can jump a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus without provoking opportunity attacks. That's pretty good. That's like the disengage. So that would be proficiency bonus. So that would be 10 feet movement as a reaction without triggering an opportunity attack. All right. Actually pretty cool features of the race. Starting from the Feywild, let's go through and start determining our stats. Now this one here, I'm going to go into AD&D rules, and we're going to apply the roles as we see fit in here. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that. So I'm going to write them in order, but then I'm going to adjust to where I feel they're going to be the most beneficial for this character, which was the way we generated in 2nd edition. And it's a good thing I already decided that and declared it, because otherwise if I started jimmying these just because of that 11, people might question. But it's still not horrible. 11s are above a 10, so you're already above average. Ooh. Not too shabby, not too shabby, I'm not feeling. And so one thing I do want to check out here is on my race, I do not see that I have dark vision. I do not have dark vision. Wow, that's pretty interesting actually. I'm happy because I'm not a fan of dark vision, because every character, not every character, many characters in my campaigns all have dark vision, so I'm not able to utilize the environment of darkness, except magical darkness, to throw challenges at them. So overall, I think it's a pretty good start. Let's go through. I'm actually going to grab my player's handbook. And we're going to go to the classes, because I know that I want to be a rogue. I apologize for all the background noise. Little helicopter going by. Alrighty. So we know that we get a 1d8 for our hit dice. I suppose we should have our stats figured out. Let's go ahead and do our oh, that's something I noticed. There was no variation for the abilities based on that race. My guess is, let me just double check, because my guess is okay, yep. We get to increase one score by 2 and increase a different score by 1. So it looks like they're following the Tasha's formula, which is fine. So let's move let's move that 8 to a 10. My eraser is dirty. And then let's move our one of the 11s up to a 12. All right, so we want to have our highest score of 17 in dexterity. My second highest of 16, I actually want to put in intelligence. And then I want to have a 12 in strength. I want to have a 12 in constitution. I want to have an 11 in wisdom. And that means my 10 in charisma. And then we put all of our bits in there. Now for our hit points, that would be our Constitution modifier plus 8. So we would start with 9 hit points. Not too shabby. And let's see, what else? We have proficiencies to go over. So we have light armor. We have simple weapons. We have hand crossbows. We have long swords, rapiers, short swords, thieves' tools. We have dexterity and intelligence for our saving throw proficiencies. And then for skills, we get to choose 4 from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. So I'm going to start with stealth, and I'm going to do acrobatics. I'm picturing this creature being light on their feet, sneaky. They like to hide. They like to not be seen and kind of hunker down and stay put. I'm thinking very rabbit-esque type of attributes for this. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do athletics because I'm thinking like long distance running and such. And then for the last one, see, we already got perception because of our race. Let's do sleight of hand. They are a rogue. Why not? Why not? All right, and then for equipment, what are we going to start with? We get a rapier or a short sword. So this one here, I'm going to say is going to be a short sword. We get a short bow and quiver, 20 arrows, a burglar's pack, a dungeoneer's pack, or an explorer's pack. I'm going to choose the burglar's pack. I'm going to put it down here so that I can break it down later. Then we get leather armor, thieves' tools, and 2 daggers. So dagger, dagger, and then we will use our plus, oh, it's plus 5 because of our proficiency bonus. And then we also get the feature of sneak attack. And that means, of course, once per turn we can deal an extra 1d6. And that only applies if we get that sneaking bonus. and we have to have advantage on the attack roll. Or have one of our allies within 5 feet. So they have to be distracted, basically, not knowing where we're at. We also get Thieves' Cant as language. Which, it didn't say what languages we get as a race here. Let's plug back into the book here. Common and one other language. So I'm going to say Common and Haregon. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything else. Nope. Everything else is left pretty open for us to create as we go. All right, let's jump into the equipment aspects. Get this details all pushed out. For our burglar's pack, we get a backpack. We get 1,000 ball bearings. We get 10 feet of string. We get a bell. We got 5 candles. We get a crowbar. Hammer. 10 pythons. Hooded lantern. We get 2 flasks of oil. We get 5 days rations. Tinderbox. Water skin. 50 feet of rope. Nice. We've got our weapons all chosen. Let's go through and start working on our backgrounds and just some of the fine details. For me, this is when we start getting into a lot of the fun aspects of the character creation. Up to this point, it's all stats, so it's all definitely important for your role-playing game to be able to actually do the roles and interact with the environment and have actions and reactions count and matter and determine success or failure. Now we get into the role-playing aspect of it, where we make the persona of our character. So to start out, we will put the alignment. I'm really feeling this character is a little bit chaotic good. Left the Feywild, they're kind of free and sneaky and roguish, but not malicious at all, not malicious. And we're going to start popping in some of the smaller details. So this is Rask. We're going to say Rask is going to be about 20 years old with big brown eyes. Skin is going to be fur covered. How about that? And then height, we're going to put old Rask at 5 feet 2 inches. Little slight. Weight of 130. And then hair, we're going to have this primarily soft brown. While it would be cool to make a white and black, maybe speckled bunny and everything, I think more of like the, keep going back to Watership Down, where many of them are more muted colors to hide into the environment and everything. I think it makes sense for Rask to have that kind of natural camouflage just from his race. All right, now we need to choose our background, which will help us determine our personality traits. So I'm not feeling that Rask was an acolyte at all. Charlatan, I'm not feeling it. A criminal with a history of breaking the law. I am wondering if I go with criminal. I'm going to for this rogue. Rask, who is a criminal background and is a rogue. So with that there, that means we need to get a criminal specialty. Generally, you have to roll a 1d8. I'm going to roll that 1d8, but then I'm going to decide whether it fits or not. I got a 2, which would be a burglar. Rask the Haregon, a burglar. A burglar. That means they go in and steal stuff. They go into places and steal stuff. I was leaning initially, my thought process was a pickpocket. Somebody like Oliver almost, who's just a pickpocket. But a burglar, they break in and steal stuff. You can see him kind of hunkering down and waiting for the garden to be empty and going in and stealing. So why not? Let's go with the roll. Let's go with it. Burglar. We're going to make this one just kind of crazy Feywild fun. So their burgling of choice is crops. Now we also get a criminal contact. So, criminal contact. That's a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as your liaison to a network of other criminals. You know how to get messages to and from your contact, even over great distances. Specifically, you know the local messengers, corrupt caravan masters, and seedy sailors who can deliver messages for you. So this one, I am going to put that the criminal contact for Rask, we are going to say is going to be, let's go with Bart the merchant. Now, I'm not going to define a whole lot because I want my GM to work with me on that. And Bart the merchant is into all kinds of illegal stuff. So he may be the fence that as Rask goes in and burgles things, particularly taking crops and such, he then gets them to his fence, who is Bart the merchant. It fits so far. It fits okay. So for our personality traits on the table, we're going to roll and get, I would rather make a new friend than a new enemy. I would rather make a new friend than a new enemy. I kind of like that one. I kind of like that one. But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning to the first thing I do in a new place is note the locations of everything valuable or where such things could be hidden. I'm feeling that one better. So that's what we're going to go with. So I picture him kind of rabbit-like, his ears back and down, and just kind of taking everything in, taking note as he's just taking note, taking stock of where things are at. He's going to be quiet and calm and just taking it all in, using that perception really well. Speaking of which, we do get some proficiencies with this, which would be deception and stealth, which we've already chosen. So do we move our initial stealth from there to something else? One of the other ones that we had an opportunity for earlier was insight. So I am going to move that to insight and then keep that stealth as part of the criminal background. We also get proficiency on one type of gaming set. So we'll say we're proficient with dice and thieves tools, which we've already got. And then we get a crowbar, which we've already got. A set of common clothes. Including a hood, which fits our miniature really well. Looks like he fell over from the amount of stress I'm putting on him. So he's got his hood, a pouch containing 15 gold pieces. All right, so let's go into the ideal of Rask, our Haregon rogue. So a 3 would be charity. I steal from the wealthy so that I can help people in need. Well, I do actually like that. But I'm going to twist that a little bit. I steal from the wealthy or well off to help people without or in need. So I adjusted that a little bit because if someone has a full field of crops, right, they're well off with those crops, and Rask doesn't have any. He's got the ration, sure, but he doesn't have any fresh carrots. So why not? Why not steal a couple because he's without? And then for our bond, what do we got here for a bond? I will become the greatest thief that ever lived. I will become the greatest thief that ever lived. I'm not feeling that one. I'm not feeling that one. What I like is my ill-gotten gains go to support my family. So I'm going to put a little clause in here of family, because we'll touch on that in the background or the backstory. I'm already getting ideas. And then for a flaw, let's see what we got. I have a tell that reveals when I'm lying. I have a tell that reveals when I'm lying. I'm actually not feeling that one. I like this one here. I turn tail and run when things look bad. That plays into both the rabbit hop, being able to hop away and then dash away, as well as what a rabbit generally does when they feel they're in trouble. They just haul. So they don't stop, they don't think, they just go. So I like that one. I really feel that. All right, so the last thing that we need to do on here is pop in a little bit of armor class from leather armor. We are going to have an 11 plus 3 for 14. There we go. There is Rask's character sheet. Now let's go into the background a little bit. How are we on time? Oh, we're good on time. We're good on time. So thinking about our Rask, we can do a lot here with the miniature itself. I mean, obviously needing some cleanup, but painting the fur kind of a tannish brown in color, and pop in a little bit of pink in the ears and around the nose to make it more organic. Big brown eyes. And then for the clothing, so it looks a little bit leathery on that tunic aspect. It's like bands of fabric that are stitched together, so I would paint that like leather armor, and then leather cordage stitching, dark brown belt. Then I would pop in some real good colors on both the pants and the jacket to make the miniature pop a little bit on the table. While you generally for a rogue would want to go with, you know, more blacks, I actually tend to think of the miniature aspect on the table. I want to have a little bit of color there, so one, I can see it easily, and two, it gives it a little more personality. So I would avoid going with the straight black hood and jacket and pants, especially because they're not, you know, very massive in size or anything. And this really is kind of minimalistic. Now there are pauldrons on the shoulder a little bit, so you can add that leather element in there, as well as the vambrace. And the sword, it's actually got kind of an interesting, almost Gaelic look to it. So it makes me think a little bit more like Irish and everything. If I were to play this character, I would try to do it with an Irish accent, make it feel a little, you know, Celtic. Maybe even pop a little bit of Celtic design on the back of the jacket or around the hood, something like that to give it that little bit more Celtic vibe. And then, yeah, use it with an Irish accent. I think that could be a lot of fun. An Irish accented Haregon named Rask the Rogue. I'm really digging it. So I'm actually going to just in here put Irish accent, just to remind myself as I'm playing this character. That's Rask. And I'm not going to do it on the stream because I wouldn't want to practice and everything first. But for the backstory, let's go with Rask the Rogue. So Rask was born in the Feywild, a member of the let's go with gosh, I'm trying to think. Chat, help me out. What is the, when you've got a lot of rabbits and their burrows and everything, what is the word? It's not, I'm not able to think of it. Let's I'm going to have to do a quick search for it because I can't think. Pop my phone open here and cheat a little bit. Alrighty. What is a group of rabbits? A colony. Okay, of the colony of Haregon, of the Green Hill Burrows. And of course I would work with my DM to make sure that that's acceptable and okay and all of this. Rask started a family young. And quickly discovered after, we'll say, 14 kids, that raising a family is expensive. Rask decided to leave home to adventure to support his growing family needs. So I'm picturing Rask falling in love early with a female Haregon, and they start breeding like rabbits, right? It makes sense. It works really well with the rabbit folk. So as an NPC, part of your bond with that family, you can come up with a whole story of a wife, and then you can go through and do 14 different kids, you and your GM. You can do them and then provide them to your GM, so that with Rask, you could do so many different interactions, like around a campfire while you're camping or sitting guard or anything. Talk about aspects of other players that remind you of some of the different kids and some of the things that you love about them and miss about them, some of the things that drive you absolutely bananas about them. And part of the reason that you're out adventuring is because you've got this family, this growing family that you want to provide for and take care of. And ultimately, that's the driving force. Is he's got this large family that Rask wants to ultimately do the best by, but he has no other means. So he has to go out adventuring to provide for his growing family. So it's a good motivator on why is he out there adventuring. It's not a huge tragic thing, but it could be a lot of fun, and it could provide opportunities for some fun interactions for the party if they ever get to meet Rask's family. I'm thinking as the GM playing this wife that is demanding, hey, where's the, we've got bills coming due. How are we going to pay for, the sod? How are we going to get the kids into their schools? Can you burp these 4 while I work on dinner? Just so many different things. And the kids running around, some of them training to be, or not training, but playing knights and dragons. And just all kinds of fun aspects you can have from a family aspect for Rask. And he's just trying to get by. He is a Haregon who has turned to thieving and has this criminal background because he needs to provide for this big, massive family. So strong ties to home, strong ties to his family, but with that desire to keep doing better and better and better, and stealing from those that have, for those that don't have or are without, to have that piece to show that his kids are taken care of and ultimately support his family. So a different character. It's a fun character, I feel, and with that difference in backstory and background and everything, especially in the Feywild, if you're allowing your party to go to the Feywild to visit Rask, maybe he's bringing some supplies or money or something home. Maybe they're escaping something and he's taking everybody into his home in the Feywild so they can let things blow over and lay low for a while. It's just a really cool dynamic of the game that you don't see get used a whole lot. So Rask, our Haregon, which we don't need the spellcasting sheet for the rogue. Let's erase these little bits here so they're not detractors. And there we go. Rask the Rogue. And well under time as well, so very exciting. It was cool to be able to also, I've had the Monsters of the Multiverse book for quite some time, and I haven't really been able to show it off. Initially, I was going to do a review on it, but later I was going to create some monsters in my campaign, which I'm still planning to do, but I hadn't gotten to that point yet. So it was a cool way for me to utilize the Monsters the Multiverse book and really do something different, all because of a free miniature that I thought I would never use, but thought, why not utilize it in some way, shape, or form? Now I've got this character that, and I wish I wasn't a forever GM, because I would love to play Rask in a game. I think it's a fun, quirky, Irish accented, family-driven rogue that would bring a lot of fun to a table, all because of a free miniature at that. I mean, it's just really goes to show how having a miniature inspire character creation can really make you think about the character and the character build and background in new, exciting ways, especially for a gamer who really loves story and storytelling and group dynamic and RP like me. I'm that type of a player. I'm that type of a GM. I love those elements of the game more so than just the tactical combat. I am a storytelling role player, and so that aspect of it, being able to explore the background of Rask and group dynamics of Rask and the path that Rask's life is going to go on through adventures, to me is just inspiring. I hope you enjoyed building this fun, quirky character with me. I hope it has motivated you to start thinking about character creation in a different way. I hope it has been insightful and helpful just for character building in general. And I hope it adds something to your games as well. That's going to be it for our Wednesday night show. Of course, Friday we're going to be here doing some chatting with Tammy and I. And then Saturday in the studio painting. Now, with the request, if you're seeing this live or on the video on demand, please give us a follow. We're not looking for subscribers, but we do want the algorithm to work in our favor. So if we can grow our follower base, we can get in front of more people who may enjoy this content. So if you don't mind, give us a follow, help support the channel. Check out our other channels on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page. And we thank you for your time, your support. And of course, don't hesitate. Let us know, where will your adventures take you. Bye-bye.